everyone, thanks again for tuning into Sin's Workshop here on YouTube. Hope you're all having a great day. Hope the lighting's okay. It's like super dark and stormy out, so I'm not getting any natural light in here, unfortunately. But we make do, right? Anyway, today we're going to be talking about Storm the Earth by Rebecca Kim Wells. Really like this novel. I'm going to start with that. I think I liked it a little bit more than the first novel, just because, the pacing and the momentum, it keeps going up and up and up. Whereas with the first novel, the story was really focused on Marine and her quest to sort of rise in the ranks so that she can save her girlfriend. So the previous story is a little bit more slow paced. Not to say that it's a slow novel. It's just, compared to this one, you can see that the story here, it just really lifts off, because it does pick off right where the last book ended. And the last book ended in fire and brimstone and ancient buildings collapsing as Marine and her girlfriend free an ancient dragon. And it picks up right from that. They're on the dragon, they're flying away. You've got dragons chasing them. It really is a high tension story because of that. Because Wells uses that momentum from that moment to really push the story forward and to keep it going forward. It's no longer about Marine's journey and how she can save her girlfriend. It's about her journey to save people she loves, to save dragons, to undo the injustice that this emperor has done, not just to humans, but to dragons as well, imprisoning them and using them as, servants, slaves in a way. And I love how Marine really does try to fight against that. And she really does, Like I said, the story does take, that would be Sniffles. The story, before he knocks down my cup of water all over my kid's crib, she does take this momentum and she runs with it. She uses it to keep the story going, to keep the story engaging, but she doesn't lose the characters in it. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a second. I just kind of want to focus on the story right at this moment. She keeps the story engaging because there are so many interactions between Marine and her girlfriend to create some emotional tension, but there's also these instances with Marine and more dragons. You really do get to see how she has evolved from the first novel to this novel, and how the story has evolved. The author has made this a story of revolution, almost. I think that's great. I do love a good rebellion, revolution story, I'm not gonna lie. So I think that her capability of doing that was really engaging for the reader, because she really does keep, like I know I'm sounding like a broken record, she does keep the momentum of the story going. She uses the fuel of the fire to just propel this story forward, to make it engaging. And I like how the dragons kind of push her. They push her to be better. They push her, especially Nava, the great mother dragon. She really does push Marine to be better than her species. And this is a dragon that has been captive and chained for centuries and used and abused for prophecies. So she really does push Marine to be better. And I like that push. She does say, I will help you if you earn my help. And Marine does, she does in the story. But you have that underlying tension between them, and I think it really does set a great precedence for how the story evolves and how it grows. There's also the added fact that the story isn't just about Marine anymore. Sorry, you have Sev now. He has his own perspective, and you didn't really get to see his perspective in the previous novel. Once again, the previous novel is really just focused on Marine and her journey. So now we have this added perspective that adds to the story. It adds to the scope of the story because now we get to see what the royal court looks like. We get to see what the emperor looks like. And I really do like how the detail and description bring to life all of that and give the story a nice scope to it. You know, I really do like stories that have good scope to them where you do get to see the bigger picture as well as the smaller picture. I do like stories like that. So I tend to be, I guess, I do like multiple perspectives in storytelling. Sometimes, you know, if they're done well, like I said, and I think I've said this in previous reviews, you can't just have a point of view just to have a point of view if it doesn't add anything to the story. I've said this about another book I read. They inputted this point of view for just two times and it was disastrous. However, you can have a story like Lightbringer, for example, and have multiple perspectives and it adds to the story. So that's what I think happens here. You know, the first novel, the first novel, Shatter the Sky, only had one perspective, and it worked for that story. It was really just about world building, creating the tension, and showing the reader who Marine was and following her journey. Now it's bigger than that. It's about the world. You know, we've already got a sense of the world building, but we need more of the world building. And I do like how Wells is able to build upon that by using Sev's perspective. Now, what she also does is she makes Sev relatable. Now, that's not to say I didn't like him in the first novel. I did, you know, but did he stand out? I don't think so. I don't think he stood out on his own. I do think he had a strong dynamic with Marina in the first novel, but I don't think he was wholly memorable in the first novel. He was just kind of there. Uh, Whereas in this novel, we as a reader, we do get to know him, we do get to follow him on his journey, and we get to see his emotional range, I want to say. By going into his perspective, we as readers get to learn a little bit more about him, a little bit more about his past, a little bit more history to him. We know bits and pieces here and there from the previous novel, but they weren't really in depth. You know, they were very kind of secondhand knowledge of him. Nothing really came from him as a person, but now more has come from him as a person. So we do get to know him as a person. I really did appreciate that. My favorite character, though, in this novel is the Dragon Kid. I love the little dragon. I mean, oh my god. Oh my god, that little dragon was so cute, and I love that. You know, that just kind of highlights how the author is able to bring to life a character without using any dialogue. Well, I mean, yes, she can talk to Marine through her thoughts, but mostly we're seeing, you know, expressions and we're seeing twitches as you would relate to an animal. And like a cat, the dragon cat reminded me a lot of one of my cats, I'm not gonna lie. Which is probably why I thought it was really adorable. In the end, yeah, I was just like, oh, it's so cute. But that's what I like about it because, yes, it has its voice. With Marine, you know, it does have a very childlike innocence to it. It is a baby dragon. But I think the fact that it uses like squeaks and sounds and expressions to come to life really just showcases the author's attention to detail. How Rebecca Kim Wells is able to bring to life this character using just description, using just detail in her storytelling, and I think that's really profound. What I also like is how Marine has changed in this novel. I'm gonna say I was not a big fan of Kaya. not a big fan of her girlfriend. I think her girlfriend is very bitter and she's very selfish. Granted, yes, she's been through a lot. She was tortured in the first novel for months, so I can understand that that may affect her. But I think what kind of pisses me off about her is her treatment of Marine. You know, Marine did everything she could have to save her, and Kai's deep resentment comes from the fact that, you know, she was kind of the alpha in the relationship, and Marine, and you do see this in the previous novel, Marine was more docile and just kind of followed her around, and now things have kind of shifted. You know, not Marine, Kaya wanted to be the one to make a stand. She wanted to be the one to really affect people and change the world. And to find out that it's Marine, you know, it really has hit her to her core. So she takes out a lot of her resentment on Marine, and I don't think it's really acceptable. Because this girl jumped through hoops of fire and went on such a treacherous journey to save the girl she loves. And I think Kaya doesn't really appreciate that. It doesn't feel like she appreciates everything her girlfriend has done for her. Yeah, their dynamic has shifted. And yes, they both want to. And I do like this. I do like how the author points out that they both want to go back to the way things were. However, they both acknowledge that they can't go back to the way things were because they're not the same people. You know, Kyle wants Marine to go back to being this sort of docile sidekick of a girl, and wants to go back to being the alpha in the relationship. And Marine, she wants things to go back, but she doesn't want to just be, you know, the beta in the relationship. She wants to be an equal partner, and I think that's really respectable of her because she has grown. It's been months, and she's gone through so much, and she's changed so much, and she's become such a stronger character that I like that the author was able to explore that and explore the tension between these two characters. I do like the tension. Not a big fan of Kaya, really not. And I also don't like the fact that she's constantly saying to Marine, like, you don't understand what I've been through. And Marine is just like, because you won't tell me. Because she's right, you know, you can't really understand what someone's been through if they're not willing to share. So that's also another wall in their relationship. Kaya's unwillingness to share her pain with her girlfriend and take comfort in her girlfriend. I think it's just another way for her to hold some resentment, to hold on to that resentment. I think that's what it is. You know, it's just another excuse. But that's just my personal opinion on Kaya. I'm just, not a fan of hers. I'm sorry. I do like that Marine is part of the LGBTQ community, whether she's bi or pansexual, we're not sure. I think that's left up to the interpretation of the reader. You can see her as bisexual because she is attracted to both of them, but is she attracted to them because of their gender or not, you know? Is she pansexual? You know, really is left up to the interpretation of the reader given the description and details and how you want to read the story. And I think that's great on Wells' part to be able to create a character as part of the LGBTQ community and really make this character relatable to all types of people, I think. And that's what I liked about it, ultimately. That's what I liked about Marine, you know, that she doesn't back down, that she holds her head high up, and that she just kind of holds on to that strength that she's discovered she has within her. So this was Storm the Earth by Rebecca Kim Wells. It is the second novel in the Shatter the Sky duology, and it was a great conclusion. I'm going to go ahead and give it 4.5 stars. If you want to go ahead and purchase the book, I will be including a link to purchase it in the description below. Sorry. If money's too tight, please check it out from your local library. Libraries are a great resource and definitely deserve all the support we can get. And I hope you will continue to support me by liking this video and subscribing to my channel. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and as always, happy reading.